What if the single most powerful thing you could do for your metabolism, your brain, your immune system, and your longevity costs absolutely nothing and requires zero equipment? The answer is not a supplement, not a drug, not a new diet. It is simply stopping eating for 23 hours. I know what you are thinking. That sounds extreme. That sounds dangerous. That sounds like starvation. It is none of those things. What I am about to walk you through is the precise hour-by-hour physiological transformation your body undergoes during a 23-hour intermittent fast, the OMAD protocol, 1 meal a day. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why, at hour 16, your brain becomes sharper than it has ever been on 3 meals a day, and why, at hour 18, your body activates a cellular repair process so powerful, the scientist who discovered it won the Nobel Prize. Let's start the clock. Hours 0 to 4. The insulin prison. The clock starts the moment you finish your last meal. For the first 4 hours, your pancreas is flooding your bloodstream with insulin in response to incoming glucose from your food. And here's the truth that destroys everything the diet industry taught you. Insulin is a fat storage lock. When insulin is circulating in your blood, it is biologically impossible to burn body fat. Your fat cells are locked vaults. No amount of exercise, no amount of calorie restriction, no amount of willpower can override this biochemical reality. Any excess glucose gets packaged into your liver and muscles as glycogen. Stored sugar your body can access later. You feel fine. But metabolically, nothing remarkable is happening yet. Hours 4 to 12. The addiction withdrawal zone. Around hour 6 to 8, your blood sugar normalizes. Insulin begins dropping, and your brain sends an alarm. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, spikes. Your stomach growls. You feel irritable and shaky. But here's what almost nobody tells you. You are not hungry. You are experiencing withdrawal. Your body has been conditioned by decades of constant feeding and processed food engineering to expect a continuous glucose supply. When that supply stops, it panics. Push through this window, and something remarkable begins. Your liver opens the glycogen reserve and begins breaking down stored sugar to maintain stable blood glucose. You are not losing muscle. You are not starving. You are simply, for the first time in perhaps days, running on your own stored energy. Hour 12. The fat-burning switch and metabolic flexibility. At hour 12, your glycogen stores hit critically low levels. Insulin drops to its lowest baseline. And this single event triggers a cascade most people living on 3 meals a day will never experience. The enzyme hormone-sensitive lipase activates, physically unlocking your fat cells and releasing stored body fat from your adipose tissue directly into your bloodstream as fuel for the very first time. This transition from burning glucose to burning stored body fat is what researchers call metabolic flexibility. It is the biological superpower that modern constant eating has completely switched off in most people. And right now at hour 12, your body is switching it back on. You are no longer running on yesterday's food. You are running on you. This is the moment people struggling with weight loss, visceral fat, insulin resistance, and metabolic syndrome have been waiting for. Everything before hour 12 is simply preparation. Hours 14 to 16. Ketones and brain optimization. Between hour 14 and 16, the experience of fasting transforms completely. The hunger disappears, suddenly and completely. As your body breaks down stored fat from your adipose tissue, your liver converts fatty acids into ketones, and your brain responds with something extraordinary. Ketones burn cleaner than glucose. They produce more energy per molecule, with dramatically less oxidative stress and metabolic inflammation. Your brain does not just tolerate ketones, It thrives on them. This is why at hour 16, people universally report what intermittent fasting researchers call the lift. Brain fog evaporates. Mental clarity sharpens. Focus becomes effortless. You do not feel weak and hungry. You feel alert and electric. This is evolutionary design. A hungry hunter who became mentally dull would not survive. Human biology is wired to sharpen under hunger, not collapse. Hours 16 to 18. Autophagy, the Nobel Prize, anti-aging mechanism. In 2016, Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine for discovering this next mechanism. It is called autophagy, and it is the most underappreciated process in human biology. Your cells have been accumulating debris for years. Damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, misfolded proteins linked to Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, even intracellular viruses and bacteria. When you eat constantly, autophagy never activates. The debris accumulates year after year. At hour 18, your cells create specialized membranes that engulf this cellular garbage, dissolving it and recycling it into pristine new amino acids and cellular components. Your cells are rebuilding themselves from the inside out. This is why intermittent fasting practitioners report better skin, reduced chronic pain, improved immunity, and dramatically lower risk of neurodegenerative disease. Autophagy is the closest thing science has found to a genuine fountain of youth, and it only activates when you stop eating long enough for insulin to fully clear, typically around hour 16 to 18. Hours 20 to 22. Human growth. Hormone surges 2,000%. At hour 20, your body releases the hormone that permanently destroys the most dangerous myth in intermittent fasting, that fasting burns muscle. Human growth hormone, HGH, surges by up to 2,000% above baseline. HGH acts as a molecular force field around your lean muscle tissue. It sends one direct signal: burn the stored fat. Do not touch the muscle. The combination of peak HGH and lowest baseline insulin creates a metabolic environment virtually impossible to replicate any other way. Maximum fat oxidation, maximum muscle preservation, maximum insulin sensitivity, active autophagy still running. This is not deprivation. This is peak metabolic optimization. Hour 23. Breaking the fast correctly. You have arrived. Your body is primed. But this is where most people undo everything, because your cells are extraordinarily receptive right now. What you eat to break your fast matters twice as much as any other meal. Breaking a 23-hour fast with pizza, refined carbohydrates, or processed sugar causes an exaggerated insulin spike that immediately crashes your energy, locks your fat cells, and shuts down autophagy instantly. The correct protocol: protein first, grass-fed beef, pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught salmon. Your body needs amino acids to complete the cellular rebuilding triggered by autophagy. This is non-negotiable. Healthy fats. Second, avocado, extra virgin olive oil, grass-fed butter. Keeps insulin moderate and sustains fat-burning mode. Nutrient-dense vegetables third. Dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, fermented foods like sauerkraut and kimchi. These restore the electrolytes, specifically potassium and magnesium, that your kidneys excrete during the fasting window as insulin drops. Replacing electrolytes is the single most important step in preventing the fatigue, muscle cramps, and headaches that derail most people during their OMAD adaptation period. Eat this way, and your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, finally communicate correctly. You stop eating when genuinely nourished, not just physically stuffed. One important note: fasting elevates cortisol in the body. For most healthy people, this is a beneficial short-term stress response that enhances fat burning and focus. But for people already under chronic psychological stress, poor sleep, or adrenal strain, extended fasting can compound that cortisol load. Listen to your body and ease into this protocol gradually. Your complete 23-hour OMAD timeline. Hours 0 to 4. Insulin elevated. Fat burning locked. Hours 4 to 12. Glycogen depleting. Insulin dropping. Fat burning door opening. Hour 12. Hormone-sensitive lipase activates. Metabolic flexibility switches on. Fat burning begins. Hours 14 to 16. Ketone production. Brain fog clears. Mental clarity peaks. Hours 16 to 18. Autophagy activates. Nobel Prize-winning cellular repair begins. Hours 20 to 22. H surges. 2000%. Maximum fat burning. Maximum muscle preservation. Hour 23. Break fast with protein, healthy fats, electrolyte-rich vegetables. We live in a food environment engineered to make you afraid of hunger. But our ancestral biology was built for exactly this. The rhythm of fasting and feasting that kept humans lean, sharp, and metabolically powerful for hundreds of thousands of years before the processed food industry rewrote the rules. Hunger is not an emergency. It is a signal. And on the other side of that signal is a state of metabolic, cognitive, and cellular optimization that most people living on 3 meals a day will never experience. You are not starving, you are thriving. If this video gave you the science to finally understand what intermittent fasting and OMAD actually do, share it with someone still eating 6 times a day, wondering why their metabolism feels broken. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for weekly deep dives on metabolic health and fat-burning science. Drop a comment. Which hour is hardest for you? The hour 8 hunger wall or the hour 12 metabolic flexibility transition?